name is Kenny.
Hey, Kenny.
Nice to meet
What's
you.
up? Nice. From Singapore?
From Singapore, yeah.
Awesome.
So I've gathered a few of the questions from some of the homies in Singapore who are not able to make it here today. And because I run a social media channel on Instagram, I thought it would be a nice way to reach out to the masses to gather some nice questions for you.
So you asked them beforehand, before you came?
I did. I actually was done last week actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So this question comes from Irie. He wants to know whether there were any tricks that you gave up on learning throughout your journey.
Yeah, a lot of tricks.
Are there notable ones?
One of the first ones I gave up on was the McTwist when it came out in 1984.
Right.
That was a very scary, difficult trick to learn.
Yep.
And for years, I didn't do the 540. And because of that, my placings dropped lower and lower and lower.
Right.
So I wasn't getting first or second anymore. I was getting more like fourth and fifth. And I would try other tricks to get myself up in the placings, but I never got there. So I think it was the McTwist came out in '84, and it wasn't until 1989 that I learned a melon grab 540.
Oh.
And because I learned that, I was able to get back up in the placings again.
Yeah, because back in the day, during the contest, there were like a fixed set of tricks that you had to do in order to get placings.
Not necessarily. I mean, everyone had their own style in the sport, and everyone kind of picked and choose. But at that time in '84, the 540 was the most progressive trick.
So
It was
everyone
the
had to
most
learn.
dangerous trick. So when people spend time learning that, you know once you learn that when you're going to get top placings. And I just never put the effort into it. You know, I just felt like I just didn't want to. You know, and it wasn't until 1989 when I learned melon grab 540, I was able to get back up to the top again and win contests. So.
Yeah, I hope that answers Irie's question. So this second question comes from Yanni. He wants to know how do you overcome fear when trying to learn something new?
I would say repetition helps overcoming fear, and baby steps. You know, working your way up to the trick. Not just trying to go full bore and attack it at full speed. Maybe going a little bit lower, maybe going a little bit slower. But I would say just continue, just try to work your way up to the trick till you're confident that you can do the trick. So it takes a lot of bailing,
Commitment.
and a lot of it's trying to figure out the proper steps for the trick to work before you make that commitment of staying on.
Right.
You know, so it's just repetition and it's just practice that helps you get to that next level. But that will help you overcome the fear of anything if you baby step it. You work it by steps. You know, like let's say before you want to do a kick flip, you learn how to ollie.
Right.
And then after that, you learn how to do an ollie 1 foot, and then you learn how to. After you do only 1 foot, learn how to flip the board and make sure it spins.
Yep. So repetition
and just baby stepping.
Yeah.
You know, try to work your way up to the trick, and I think that really helps with overcoming your fear of anything. Like especially like dropping in.
Yeah.
You don't want to just drop in on a 14-foot halfway.
Right.
You want to start at 2 foot,
And slowly work your
4
way up.
foot, 6, 10, and then 14.
Yeah.
And once you learn how to do that, work your way up to it, you'll overcome the fear of it.
So you mentioned in an earlier interview that you don't like picking a favorite.
Not really.
This question comes from Timothy. So I'll try to work this around to change his question to say like, are there any skaters out there like their video parts that get you stoked to go out and skate instead of picking a favorite?
Yeah. Shoot. Any video parts? I haven't watched videos in a long time.
I see.
Yeah. It gets me stuck. I think just looking on Instagram and watching skaters skate, depending on who it is, it doesn't matter to me. Anyone. It could be a female skateboarder. It could be a skateboarder that's like a young skateboarder, an old skateboarder. Anything that is very impressive gets me really hyped to go out there and try to continue skating.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say there's any one person in particular, but there's so much content on the internet that it's really easy to get hyped on skateboarding.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, because of all the creativity and what people are doing these days. So I wouldn't say it's one particular like genre or anything type of skateboarding. Um, just skateboarding in general gets me hyped to go out and skate, you know, and to push myself and to see someone do a trick and be like, oh, that would be kind of cool to learn,
Yeah.
you know. So it doesn't matter who it is. Skateboarding itself inspires me.
Okay, so this is the last question coming from Jason. Jason, he's a homie of mine. I think he's about 46 or 47 years old. His question is, what are your 3 best health tips for skaters skating past their 40s?
Okay. Number 1, stretching.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, staying away from drugs and alcohol.
Oh, yeah. Jason drinks too much.
It's a distraction. And number 3, just putting in the work, skating as much as possible. You know, I thought that I could get away with maybe skating once a week, you know, once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It doesn't really cut it, you know. If you continue skating every single day for a couple hours, and just eating healthy as well.
Yeah, eating healthy.
Drinking lots of water, eating healthy, and just putting just that board time, being on your board all the time, I think it really helps continue that longevity. But I would say number 1, stretching.
Stretching.
Yeah, that's the number 1. That's the one that affects me the most right now is not be able to bend down and grab my board like I used to.
Yeah.
It just makes it more difficult, you know. And why do you want to make it more difficult in your older age?
Yeah, and you
don't really
won't
have
enjoy
to.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to make fun of people who stretched back in the day. And now I kicking myself in the butt, going like, why didn't I do that while they were stretching? Why
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
I
right.
stretching too?
Okay. Lastly, I brought some items that I wish you could help me to get an autograph on.
Yeah.
All is a board that I've kept for many years.
Wow. Amazing. Nice.
Alright. Thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
the time to sit down with us.
Yep.
I hope that answers most of the homies' questions.
See you, homies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take a picture.